Treasury of Bedtime Stories.
The Tree That Talked to the Wind. Once upon a time, a little girl named Alara lived next to a big, friendly forest. Her very favorite spot was under a giant, twisty old tree called the Listening Oak. One evening, as the sun was going to sleep, Alara leaned on the tree and whispered, "I wish I knew what the wind was singing." Just then, the leaves above her went swish, swish, swish. It wasn't a voice, but a feeling. She felt like she was at the beach, hearing the waves go crash and smelling the salty air. Alara's eyes got very wide. "Did you just show me the ocean?" she asked. The leaves rustled again. This time, she felt a big sunny field with pretty flowers and a bird flying way up high. Alara giggled. She understood. The old tree couldn't talk with words, but it could talk with feelings. It used the wind to share its stories. Every day after that, Alara visited her tree friend. It showed her pictures in her mind of snowy mountains, sandy deserts, and rushing rivers. The tree told her all the wind's best stories. But one day, something was wrong. Everything was quiet. The wind was gone. The tree's leaves were sad and droopy. The forest was too still. Alara was worried. She hugged the tree tight and asked, "Where is the wind?" A feeling popped into her head. The wind was stuck. A giant rock had fallen and was blocking its path high up on a mountain. Alara knew she had to help, but she was too little to move a big rock. So she had a great idea. She asked her animal friends for help. She told the squirrels told the deer told the mountain goats found some friendly rock spirits on the mountain. The rock spirits were very strong. They pushed and pushed until, rumble! They moved the giant rock just enough. Whoosh! The wind burst out, happy and free. It flew over the hills, through the fields, and right back into Alara's forest. It danced around the listening oak, and the leaves sang the happiest song Alara had ever heard. Alara smiled. She had helped save the wind's stories, and that made her a very important part of the story, too. The end.
Luna and the Starlight Meadow. In a cozy little house at the edge of a sleepy village, lived a small cat named Luna. Luna wasn't just any cat. She was as white as freshly fallen snow, with eyes the color of polished emeralds. While other cats were excellent at napping in sunbeams or chasing dust bunnies, Luna had a special gift. She loved the night. When the moon rose, big and silver, Luna would feel a gentle tingle in her paws. She would slip out of her cozy basket, give a soft stretch, and pad silently to the window. The world at night was not dark and scary to her. It was painted in shades of blue and silver, and it was full of secrets. One evening, Luna saw something new. A tiny, glowing speck had landed on her windowsill. It was a firefly, but it seemed tired, and its light flickered weakly. "Hello," Luna whispered, her voice as soft as a dandelion puff. "Are you lost?" The firefly blinked a sad, dim light. "I am," it hummed. "My family is in the Starlight Meadow, but I flew too far and now I'm too tired to find my way back. Without my light, I'm invisible." Luna's heart felt heavy. She knew what it was like to feel small in the big, dark night. "Don't worry," she said, nuzzling the tiny insect gently with her nose. "I will help you. My white fur shines in the moonlight. You can ride on my head, and together, we will be a beacon." The little firefly perched gratefully between Luna's ears. "Answer," the little white cat and the fading firefly set off into the night. They walked through shadowy gardens where sleeping flowers dreamed. They tiptoed past a pond that held the moon like a shiny pearl. Luna's fur glowed softly, lighting their path. Along the way, they met other night creatures. A wise old owl, perched on a branch, hooted, "Who goes there, so bright and brave?" "I am Luna," she replied, "and I am helping a friend find the starlight meadow." "The meadow is far," the owl said, "beyond the whispering woods. But follow the path where the forget-me-nots grow. They remember the way, even in the dark." Thanking the owl, Luna continued. Deeper in the woods, the shadows grew longer. The little firefly's light was now just a faint glimmer. Luna began to feel a little nervous. What if she couldn't find the way? Just then, she remembered her own gift. She wasn't just a white cat, she was a moonlight cat. She sat down, closed her emerald eyes, and thought of the gentle, silvery moonbeams. She imagined them touching her fur, filling her with a soft, steady light. When she opened her eyes, something wonderful was happening. Her white fur was glowing brighter, as if she had swallowed a little piece of the moon itself. The path ahead was now clear. Encouraged, she hurried on, following the forget-me-nots until the trees thinned out. And then, she saw it. The starlight meadow. It was the most beautiful place Luna had ever seen. The grass was tipped with silver dew, and thousands of fireflies danced in the air, weaving patterns of light like living constellations. In the center of the meadow stood an ancient, glowing tree whose leaves shimmered with a soft, internal light. The little firefly on her head gave a joyful buzz. Its own light suddenly flared back to life, bright and strong. "I'm home," it hummed. The firefly zipped off Luna's head and was immediately surrounded by its joyful family. The whole meadow seemed to pulse with happiness. The fireflies swirled around Luna, touching her fur with their lights until she was covered in tiny, sparkling kisses of gratitude. "You helped our lost one," the leader of the fireflies hummed. "You are always welcome in the starlight meadow, little moon cat. Your kindness has made you a part of our light." Luna sat for a while, watching the dance of lights, feeling warm and happy. When she finally padded home, the first rays of the sun were painting the sky pink. She slipped back inside, curled up in her basket, and fell into a deep, contented sleep. And from that night on, if you looked very carefully on a moonlit evening, you might see a little white cat with a softly glowing coat, visiting the meadow where the fireflies dance, forever a friend of the night and the keeper of its gentle secrets. Now, close your eyes, little one. Maybe tonight, you'll dream of a glowing white cat and a meadow full of starlight. Sweet dreams.
The little lighthouse's good night. On a small, rocky island at the edge of a sleepy fishing village stood a lighthouse named Leo. Leo wasn't very big, but he was very important. Every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and lavender, Leo's keeper, an old, kind man named Silas, would wind the clockwork and light the great lamp. With a soft click hum, Leo's beam would begin to turn, a brilliant, steady finger of light sweeping across the dark, swirling sea. Flash, sweep, flash, sweep. For years, this was Leo's purpose. His light guided fishermen home through fog, showed lost sailboats the way, and kept the big ships from stumbling on the jagged rocks. Leo loved his job. He loved the cheerful toots of thanks from the boats and the way the village windows glowed like tiny land stars in response to his own light. But one summer, a new, big, modern lighthouse was built on the distant mainland. Its beam was so powerful it could be seen for miles and miles. On its first night, the mayor came to see Silas. "Silas," the mayor said, "the new lighthouse can do the work of 10 little Leos. You can rest now. Leo can rest too." That very night, Silas did not wind the clockwork. The great lamp remained dark. Leo felt very strange. The sky grew dark, the stars came out, and for the first time he could remember, he did not shine. He felt useless and very, very small. He watched the new lighthouse's beam stab confidently through the darkness. They don't need me anymore, he thought, his heart feeling heavy. But soon he began to hear voices, not the big, booming horns of ocean liners, but small, worried whispers on the wind. "Pardon me," squeaked a tiny voice from below. Leo looked down. It was a family of field mice, huddled on a rock, looking confused. "We use your light to find our way to the berry patches in the evening." Everything is so dark now. Then, a flutter of wings. A little storm petrel, a seabird, landed on his railing. "I'm lost," she chirped. "I always use your friendly flash to know I'm near my nest. That big new light is so bright. It hurts my eyes." Next, a soft voice bubbled up from the water. It was a seal pup. "I was playing too far from shore," it whimpered. "My mom told me to always swim towards the little flashing light. Now I can't find her." Leo's heart sank. He hadn't realized that his light wasn't just for the big ships. It was a good night signal for all the small creatures of the coast. Just then, Silas, who had been listening from his cottage, came out. He had heard the worried voices too. He patted Leo's whitewashed wall. "I was wrong, old friend," he said softly. "A light doesn't have to be the biggest or the brightest to be important. It just has to be there for those who need it." With a determined smile, Silas went inside Leo and began to wind the clockwork. Click. And then, with a warm, familiar glow, Leo's light burst forth. Flash, sweep, flash, sweep. It wasn't as powerful as the new lighthouse's beam, but it was friendly, steady, and comforting. A cheer went up from the rocks as the field mice scurried happily towards their berries. The little storm petrel gave a joyful chirp and soared straight towards her nest. And the seal pup, seeing the friendly flash, barked with relief as his mother soon swam up to nuzzle him. Leo shone all night, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He was the little lighthouse, saying goodnight to all the small, important things. To the mice in the bowls, to the birds and the seals, to the crabs scuttling along the shore, and to the children in the village who, seeing his friendly flash from their windows, knew that all was well and it was safe to drift into their dreams. And so, every night, you can still see him. His light says nothing loud or boastful. It simply whispers, in a language of gentle flashes, "Good night. Good night. All is well. Good night. Now, close your eyes, and maybe if you dream very hard, you might just see the friendly, flashing glow of the little lighthouse, wishing you a good night, too. Sweet dreams."
The Boy Who Painted Dreams. In a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and a whispering forest, lived a boy named Elian. Elian was a quiet child with eyes the color of a summer sky and hands that were never quite clean. For you see, Elian was a painter. But he didn't paint on ordinary canvases or with ordinary paints. Elian painted dreams. Each morning, when the first rays of sun tickled the rooftops, Elian would wake up, his mind buzzing with colors from the night before. He would rush to his little attic room, where pots of starlight silver, moonbeam white, and laughter gold shimmered on his windowsill. With a brush made from the softest feather of a sleeping owl, he would begin to paint. He didn't paint what he saw, he painted what he felt in his dreams. One day, he painted a towering castle made of swirling, transparent blues and greens. "That was old Mr. Higgins' dream," he whispered to his mother. He was dreaming of swimming in the ocean again, like he did as a young man. And sure enough, when Mr. Higgins came to buy bread, he had a spring in his step and a salty smile on his face. Another time, Eliane painted a flurry of tiny, bright yellow orbs dancing around a single, gentle, pink flower. "That's little Clara's dream," he said. She was dreaming of fireflies having a party in her garden. Clara, who had been afraid of the dark, woke up that morning and asked if she could leave the window open, just in case her new friends wanted to visit. Eliane's paintings were beautiful and strange. They didn't always make sense to the waking eye, but they held a magic that made the villagers feel warm and hopeful. But one night, Eliane had a dream unlike any other. It was not a dream of color and light, but one of shadows and silence. He saw a great, gray fog creeping over the village, and in the fog, everyone slept, but their faces were pinched and worried. There were no dreams in the fog, only quiet, empty sleep. He woke up feeling heavy and cold. He went to his paints, but his brush felt clumsy. He tried to paint the fog, but the colors turned to mud on his paper. He tried to paint the silence, but it just looked like an empty, white space. A deep sadness settled in his heart. For the first time, he couldn't paint the dream. That night, the gray fog from his dream slipped into the village. The next morning, people woke up tired and grumpy. The baker burned the bread. Friends argued over nothing. The village was draped in a blanket of gloom. No one had dreamed at all. Eliane knew he had to do something. He sat in his attic, staring at the muddy, failed paintings. He thought about the feeling of the dream, the cold silence, the lonely emptiness. And then he realized his mistake. He was trying to paint the fog. But what you fight, you give power to. What he needed to paint was what the fog had taken away. He closed his eyes and didn't think about the gray. He thought about the warmth of Mr. Higgins' ocean. He remembered the joy in Clara's firefly dance. He gathered every happy, colorful, loving dream he had ever painted and held them in his heart. With a deep breath, he dipped his brush not into one pot, but into all of them. He swirled together laughter gold, starlight silver, friendship orange, and hope blue. On a large, clean sheet, he began to paint. He didn't paint a thing. He painted a feeling, a great, swirling, brilliant vortex of color that looked like a sunrise singing a lullaby. It was a painting of dream itself. As he put the final brush stroke, a wonderful thing happened. The painting began to glow. The colors lifted off the paper, not as a mist, but as a gentle, radiant light. It floated out of his window, a silent firework of pure dream stuff. The light spread over the village, seeping under doors and through keyholes. It touched the forehead of every sleeping person. That night, the villagers dreamed. They dreamed of soaring on the backs of birds, of feasts with long-lost loved ones, of solving great puzzles, and of simple, quiet moments of perfect peace. The next morning, the grey fog was gone. The village woke up refreshed, their hearts light. They didn't know why, but they felt that everything was going to be all right. Eliane looked out his window at the smiling faces below. He looked at his hands, stained with every color of the rainbow. He had learned that the most important dreams to paint are not just the happy ones, but the ones that chase away the shadows. He was not just the boy who painted dreams. He was the keeper of the night's magic, and with his gentle heart and his feathered brush, he would always make sure that even on the darkest nights, a little light could find its way in. And with that thought warming him like a blanket, he smiled, ready for a good day's rest, and perhaps, a wonderful dream of his own. Sweet dreams.